my name is Lindy Sherries and I used to be a Sangoma. In this channel, I talk about everything, guys. Abokorobela, the secrets that we were taught not to share with you guys, how we used to trick you guys, the spirits, how everything works when you go to a Sangoma for consultation, Yamatambo. So whether you believe in God or don't believe in God, please check out this channel so we can talk about it. If you believe in God, let's share the gospel. If you don't believe in God, you can check out the channel too. I want to hear your opinion, and I want people to actually share their opinion, not insulting me without saying why. Thank you, and I'll see you on my channel.
Yes, thank you so much, guys, for joining me right here in Solomon's Temple. My name is Solomon Izang Asham. So good to be with you wherever you're watching. Thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you who is here for this broadcast. Thank you, Bongani. Awesome to have you here. Good to have you here. Rose, it's great to have you here. And thank you. Mapin Dela said, I will watch But Sabelo. So thank you so much. Thank you everyone who is here and joining. Peggy is watching from New York. And also there's Pindi also watching. Don and Dillian watching from New Jersey. Awesome. Thank you guys. This is one of these broadcasts, an interview that it breaks my heart, because I think for me, my motivation for doing what I do is because I've experienced and seen a lot of victims created by so-called pastors, bishops, and prophets. I've worked with a lot of these victims, some of them to the police station to open cases, some of them to court, some of them we needed to support them financially and all that kind of stuff. And I've seen how broken they are. And here we're talking about an issue of a 60-year-old pensioner, a mother, a grandmother, who was raped by her pastor. Now at 60, at that sort of age, you actually are looking at trying to make sure that you just continue to serve God, isn't it? And the church becomes that place where you really want to serve God. That's what it is, and that's what we're going to look at this evening, the incident that happened in 2018. And the grandmother, mother, pensioner, 60-year-old, kept this from her children, from people. Because obviously, guys, I know a lot of women who would experience that kind of abuse and rape, and they will keep it to themselves. First is shameful. Second is broken them. And there's just nothing they just know they can do. But she managed to open up this June, just 2 months ago or so, to her family, her son. And her son is here with us this evening to speak on his mother's behalf, because he's the one that has been taken on this crusade after his mother told him in June. So I have with me Butsabelo Sibia rather, who is all the way in KZN. This church is called CFCI. He's going to tell us more about it and more about this pastor who manages 2 churches as part of CFCI. CFCI in South Africa is quite a big church, and it's across South Africa. It's led by a guy called Apostle Colin Lomo. Now, my question is, how can Colin and Lomo still have this guy pastoring? Have we compromised and look, I'm just seeking for results that we are not even tolerating sin anymore because this man is giving us a result? By the way, this is not the first accusation against this man who was a principal, and he did the same thing. So Sabelo, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you.
Now, how do you feel having a mother who gave birth to you telling you that she was raped? She was not raped by a stranger. She was raped by a pastor. She was not raped by a pastor. She was raped by a pastor who actually wedded you and your wife. Somebody you trusted. somebody your whole family, I guess, trusted. How did you feel when she told you that?
Well, I don't know how to describe it, but we are very disturbed. We are hurt. We are hurt as a family. It's just unthinkable. So yeah, I don't know. There's just no words to explain it.
When did you first hear about it? Let's go to the beginning. Let's even establish. Tell us about this pastor on CFCI. Tell us about your history with them and your family's history with them, with your mother also.
Well, my mother joined the church. She joined the church, CFCI, Tlabisa, in 1999. And actually, she was a founding member of the church. The pastor that we're talking about, he was not there at the time, so there was a different pastor. So she has been there ever since. She has been a very committed member of the church, paying tithes, being involved in the leadership. She was a cell leader in the church, and also very involved in children's church. So she was leading children's church in the church there at Tlabisa. So when this thing happened, and so at some point then the pastor that we're talking about became the pastor of the church, and my mother continued to be there. But also I myself joined then my mother. I got born again, and then I joined my mother in the church as a teenager, and I grew up in the church, doing the same, being a faithful tither in the church, being committed to the church, attending church events, and loving the church. So it is very hurting. It's something that I did not expect, to be honest with you. I don't know. There's just no way to explain it. Yeah.
And you got this same pastor, and guys, we're talking about a pastor called Pastor Becky, who was, how do you spell his, trying to say his surname again?
The surname is Mpungose.
Mpungose.
His name is Begi Mpungose.
Yes, so this is the pastor here. You can see behind him CFCI. It's called Covenant Fellowship Church International. It's sort of like a mega church down in KwaZulu-Natal, around the province in South Africa, for those of you guys who are watching internationally. This is him here, and this is him with his own wife, right? So we're talking about someone who's married. Now, this is the same pastor who wedded you and your wife, isn't it?
That's true, Solomon.
A pastor who wedded you and your wife. Now your mother had to look at you in the face and say, that pastor actually raped me.
Yeah, I don't know, just bring tears to my eyes. Yeah, unfortunately, it is so. It's the pastor that wedded us.
Pastor Becky, he's a leader of the church in Tlabisa and Nongoma, isn't it?
Yes, it's Tlabisa.
Tlabisa.
Yeah, he leads the church at CFCI Tlabisa and CFCI Nongoma. So they are all under his leadership.
Now, your mother has been, you just gave us her history. She's been in that part of the church since 1999. So we're basically talking about what now? 23 years, 22 years?
Yeah, very long. Yeah.
Served as in different capacity, even children's church. Now, how did you get to the place where your mother actually opened up to you guys about this sad incident that happened to her? It happened in 1998. What happened actually in that 1918 rather?
In 2018.
Yeah.
Yes, Solomon.
Tell us about what happened. How did the incident, did it start? Was it an one incident thing? Was there sexual harassment before then? Was there wherever?
Yeah, of course, I'm telling the story that my mother sat me down together with my wife and told me everything about this recently. And so she says before the actual day of the rape, where she was raped, there was a build up to it. There were occasions when the pastor would take my mother. I think if I can take you back, I think there would be a meeting in the church that takes time until that takes place until late in the evening at one point. And when my mother said, but she doesn't have a transport to take her home, can she be excused from the church? From the meeting. And the pastor said that he will take her home. Then my mother then stayed in that meeting, and on completion of the meeting, of course, it was very late, and he drove my mother home. And when it was time for my mother to get off from his car, and then she says that he jumped at her and just clung on her, and when he was asking, but what are you doing, Mfundis? And I cannot remember what he said, but so that is what happened. And somehow then she slipped out and just went away. And then there was another event. I think my mother says they had to go to the home of the member of the church to take, I think it was the school uniform, because the pastor's wife, I think, was doing some uniform. I'm not sure if she still does the uniform business. So on their way then there as well, coming back, they went there to take that uniform, and then on the way back, the pastor did the very same thing when my mother was supposed to go off. And then eventually on this day of the rape, I think my mother says he came just during the day. He came at home.
Place. Okay.
Yeah, he came to my mother's place, and she found her alone, and she asked where are the kids, because this is the person that knows my family very well. She knows that there is mostly females in my family. It's only two of us, me and my younger brother, that are males, but then the rest of the family members are females. And this is a person that took advantage of this. And so she, then she said that, the kids are not around, and the pastor said, ask for her to show him around in the house. There is a house at home, but it's not very new, but it's a house that we're still working. So the pastor said he wants my mother to show her around, because he doesn't know the house very well. And so out of, I think, innocence, my mother then was doing that. She says then at the kids' bedroom, and then that's where he jumped on her, and then then he raped her.
And that was during the day.
Say again.
That was during the day, not in the evening.
That was during the day, not even in the evening. So that was during the day. Yeah,
now,
this is yes.
After that, she never shared that with anyone. That was in 2018.
Yes. So my mother says she never shared this with anyone. But the following day, because she was just, I don't know, she was just she was shocked, and
Traumatized, shocked.
she traumatized. Yeah, she did not know what to do after that. I mean, and then the following day she only called her sister, who also goes to the same church but at Nongoma, and she stays at Nongoma. So she called her and told her about the situation, about what had happened, and yeah. I think her sister as well did not encourage her to report the issue. She just, kept quiet about it. I think she just said, "Oh, I think this is her words." I think she said how something about the church. I mean, now this will destroy the church. Something to that end.
Yeah. So this is her sister telling her that.
This is her sister telling.
Let's protect the pastor. Let's protect the church over a rape incident.
It seems
that's how society deals with that. That's what we do in church, Sabelo. Unfortunately, a lot of us, we try to protect the church. We try to protect the pastor instead of protecting the victim. It's not only her sister that's done that. A lot of people do that.
That is very sad.
That is very sad.
Very sad. And the pastor that we're talking about here is the pastor. It's not the first time that this happens. So I mean, there is involved in the issue of rape. In I think it was 2016, he was charged and for, I mean, he was alleged to have raped the kid or the child in the school where he was the principal. He was the principal at the time, and he was also pastor. Yes, and but somehow then that case also was lost to the child.
Now,
so it is very sad.
It is indeed sad. Now, your mother now, after she shared with her sister in 2018, she decided to just keep it to herself, never reported the case, and didn't take it any further. And she continued going to the church, or she left the church?
Yes, my mother then left the church. She didn't report it because, I mean, she says now, telling us that, she did not know
where to start.
Where to start. How does she tell such a thing, especially to her kids? So she then left the church. In 2018, Solomon, we got married. That's when the pastor then was officiating in our wedding. We did not know that there is this kind of pastor, and we got married, and in 2019, early in 2019, when I came home, because I was working in Cape Town, actually I was going to the church, the very same church, CFCI, but in Cape Town, and I came home in late 2018 to 2019, and my mother, that's when then she told us that she no longer goes to the church. She has left the church, but we were shocked because, I mean, we grew up in this church. We were passionate about the church, loving the church. We were shocked that, including my mother. So we were shocked that my mother has taken such a decision. But then, we had to respect her decision. Then she went to another church, which he still serves. He still serves in that church. I mean, she still serves there.
Now, in June this year, she now decided to open up. Why was that, and how did she come to that place?
Well, yes. We had invited her, me and my wife, at our place. Not at Travis. I think we were at our place. We had invited her, to welcome the new member of the family, and so yes, her grandchild. So when she was there, during her visit, she sat us down with my wife, and she said she wants to tell us the real reason why she had to leave the church. And so at that time I was preparing for, I think I was writing an exam the following day. I think it was the 9th of June. I was writing an exam on the 10th. So I was really I felt that my mother is actually disturbing me, because now I've got this exam and I'm not ready for the exam. So I said I will listen my mother, but I'm still I'm studying at the same time. So, but then she told the story, and then, you know, as she was telling, then it got my attention, and I stopped what I was doing and just listened attentively. And then she said that she was raped, and the whole story, that what I've said. And then we then advised her, I mean, to really report this with the police. And then from there she I mean, she actually, there was that disagreement in the family, especially her sister. She was not of the opinion that this should be reported with the police. So she wanted us to, actually, I think she was under pressure from the people from outside,
Church leaders, yes.
Yes, including church leaders, to discuss this and somehow to strike a deal that, you know, will pay for damages, and let's not report it with the police. But my mother then went on, and she was telling me about this, that this is what is happening. But I really encourage her to report it. And I said, if it means that I must come as well and be there to report it with the police, I'll do so.
And she reported the case, and this is the case number, just so people would know. That's the first thing you do when there is a sexual abuse issue. So this is the message she received from the South African Police Services, Sergeant SF Msweli. He said, we'll investigate your case. Klabisa, there's a reference number, the case number is there, and everything is there, which is very important, which was recorded and registered. But then after just a couple of weeks, or just about a month or so, the same case, before we even move to the next phase, when this case was reported, did you guys receive any sort of communication from the church? Because now they know you were serious.
Solomon, I lost you a bit. Maybe if you can, I lost you then.
Okay. I said when the case was, she opened the case now, and there's a case number and everything.
Yes.
Did you guys, I know in situations like this, you begin to get a lot of pressure from the church, from the leaders. Sometimes you receive threats. Did such a thing happen?
Yes, actually, there's a lot that happened. I think maybe because of time, then I won't be able to tell it. And I also, but what happened is that on the day, actually, on the day that my mother was going to report the case, I got phone calls in the morning when we were still sleeping. So I got phone calls from the pastor himself, from the members of the church, the leadership, the guy that, I mean, the two guys that work in his church as leaders. So I got one guy. I can actually mention even the name.
Go ahead.
I've got phone call from Mandla Kumalo. He's a senior member of the church there at Tlabisa. Basically they were discouraging us. They were discouraging us from reporting the case with the police. So I think they were telling me about, the implication that this actually it has a potential. It's going to dent the image of the church, and also, you know, he was very, very, you know, begging me to convince my mother not to go there. I mean, not to go and report the case. But also, I received the message. I mean, the pastor kept on calling me, but he could not get hold of me. So I saw missed calls, but eventually he left the message. It's a WhatsApp message that I got. I also got I got it in the form of SMS as well. So he was also asking me, basically, well, it's a long text of the message, but it's written in Zulu. He was also, you know, begging me not to report the case, but, you know, that how, you know, he was telling how it's going to damage his family and all that. There was nothing in all this thing. There was nothing about, you know, nothing about my mother.
Yes.
There was nothing that was said about, you know, the damage that has been suffered by my mother. So all these people, and at some point I was called by the very by the also the guy in that is in the leadership of the church at national, that happens to be a businessman as well. So he was also convincing, you know, they were saying that I'm the very key person in this. I have, you know, I can convince my mother to stop this, and we can talk about this, and maybe, you know, they were even saying to the point that money is not a problem. So yeah.
So all they care about is the image of the church, the pastor and his family, and they think they can just use money to just say, look, we're going to pay you. They they have no idea that this is far more than this.
Well, from their conversation,
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying from their conversation that comes out to say, you know, yeah, it's about, they care so much about the image of the church, rather than, and the pastor, rather than the mother here was abused. It's very sad.
But for you, all you care about is justice for your mother, and all your mother cares about is justice for herself, isn't it? Did you get that?
Solomon, I lost you. Can you just say that again?
I said all your mother cared about is justice for herself.
Yes.
And all you care about is justice for your mother, isn't it?
For my mother, that's true.
Now, after this case was opened, just a couple of weeks, or was it a couple of months later, you received a message saying that the case has been withdrawn on the 15th of July. Reason for withdrawal, they said withdrawn in court, not enough evidence. True. How did they get to that point?
Well, we don't know. We really do not know. We were shocked. My mother was shocked. She received this text.
Did your mother ever go to court?
Never.
So how can they come to a conclusion without having the complainant in court?
Yeah, it is very strange. It is very strange. That is why we are challenging this. And also, Solomon, if you're looking at, there is a text message as well there, I mean, that my mother received. I think it was a few days after she opened the case at Tlabisa police station. Then she got a message to say the suspect was arrested and charged, and the first appearance in court would be on the 27th of June. But that was the very same day that my mother received that message, and I don't know. I'm not a very very knowledgeable when it comes to legal matters, but I think my mother as well had a right when the suspect appeared in court, so that my mother was supposed to be also present, so that she can be part of the court proceedings. But that was never a case. And also the message that you've just shared. I mean, it says in court, but there was no court sitting.
And you guys are doing your best now to make sure that this case is reinstated. There is a copy of the letter that was written to the police here, a request for investigation surrounding the withdrawal of this case, which is rape. The case number is there. And also there is a petition online. So I want to encourage everyone watching. There's a petition that I posted on YouTube, the first comment there on YouTube. Please go in and sign. We're collecting signatures. Go in there and sign, because this case cannot just go away like that. That's why a lot of these, immoral pastors and charlatans and false prophets, that's what they do. They think they can get away with anything. And I think with even the leadership of CFCI under the leadership of Colin Ndlomo need to be questioned, because this same pastor is part of the national leadership of CFCI, right? So what are you guys doing right now, just Sabelo, just to elaborate a bit more and just trying to make sure this case doesn't just go away like that?
Yes, we actually, like I said, we the letter that you've just shown there, we have written it. I'm not going to disclose who we're writing it to, but to the police officials, very senior officials. We want to actually investigation to be conducted on how this case was withdrawn, and even to check whether it was registered, because it doesn't seem like it was even registered in court as a case. So it just seems like it just.
So you guys investigated that, because it's easy to go to and check and to go to court and check out if there's a case like this and what was the judgment. You need to get a copy of the judgment.
Yeah, we'll do that. It's what we have not done, but we'll do that. We'll do that. But of course, we running also a petition that is in order to get this case reopened, and so that justice can be served for the victim, so that both parties can be heard really in the court. So justice must be served.
And then we have this same pastor. His life has been he's been going on with his life like normal right now, isn't it?
Well, that's what we hear actually, because I'm not at Nangoma, but that's what we hear. But I can tell you that yesterday I was called because I had put a status on my WhatsApp. I mean, I had put some information actually on my WhatsApp status. I was called by one of the leaders of the church at Tlabisa to complaining about that, and actually also what he said there is that the pastor was actually I don't know, suspended, something to that end, but I don't know. But the information that we have and that we get actually from my mother's sister, who also goes to the very same church at Nongoma, is that the pastor do come to the church, and although at the moment he doesn't, he's not is not taking part, in preaching, but he does come to the church, and and yeah. So for us, it seems like it's life as normal for him. So because I mean that pastor is still the leader. There's no leader that has been appointed there as to say this is the new pastor. So the pastor there, it's a very same pastor who has done this. Yeah. So.
And I think what we would have to do again also is to try to make sure that we maybe approach the CRL Commission in South Africa with this case.
Okay.
And also to look at other media platform that would really expose and bring light to this case, because this is not supposed to happen. We have our young girls going through the same thing. And then we also have our mothers and grandmothers who are 60, now 60, How can somebody be 60 years old? By the way, how old is the pastor himself? He's a father and a husband and a father. How old is he?
Well, I'm not too sure, but he's over 50.
So your mother is sort of like older than him a little bit.
Yes, my mother is older than me.
There must be something wrong with him.
Yeah, something is terribly wrong. Just to say a few things here, Solomon, is that you talk about the kids. I mean the young girls and all that. That's what also brought us here. We want to raise an awareness. That this person is a danger. If I mean, you can't have the person that in 2016, like I say, he was accused of the rape, and time goes on now. 2018, the very same person commits the very same thing, and we do not know, because these are the cases that come to light and they are reported. We do not know things that are not reported.
Yeah, there are many others. Definitely,
we do not
that's
know
how it
things
works.
that are reported, and we don't know who is next, and we don't want it to be our kids. We've got girls, kids that attends church. We've got we've got females that attends church, and it really doesn't feel safe for them if such a thing is allowed just to continue to happen like this. And also we just want to say, we want to encourage people that sitting there, maybe they've been victims of the very same pastor, or even victims of such occurrences. We want to encourage them that stand up and talk about these things. We cannot continue like this.
And this is the good part about sharing this story. It's not just about trying to find justice for your mother, but it's just trying to enlighten others and to be able to help others, especially also younger women, because it's obvious now no one is safe. Middle-aged women, younger women, older women, nobody is safe. The place where they're supposed to be saved is turning into a place where it's very unsafe, and that is the church.
Yeah, it's very safe.
And I must applaud you, your wife, your mother, and whoever supported you guys for the fact that you refused to be intimidated. All you want is justice. You refuse to say, okay, they should pay damages. They can pay us money and then that's it. We can settle for that. You cannot do that.
Yeah, no.
You refuse you refuse to think that if you expose this, you're going to damage the pastor or you're going to damage the church.
No,
It's sad. The church is your mother. Your mother is the church. She's the one that's
True.
been damaged. This whole
True.
church building thing is, we must reconfigure our thinking.
True. I think well said, sir. Because I mean, we protecting the pastor here, at the expense of the victim, and this thing seems to be a trend, and we cannot go like this. So we're really encouraging people to speak out. We're not giving up on this one. We want this matter to be heard in court. We're not going to keep quiet. And yeah, we need the support, whoever is willing.
No, I want to thank you. I don't know if you have any other thing to add to this that you want to let us know, something I've missed.
Well, maybe what I just didn't share is that also that this matter was covered in the news. So this is the newspaper here,
A Zulu newspaper.
where it was covered. Although it's a Zulu newspaper, but this is where it was covered, and so it is very sad, and we really want to send a strong message to say, even to other people, doing this, but who have not been found, to say, this must stop. It cannot be tolerated.
No, again, thank you so much for standing, supporting your mother, and also craving for justice, and not seeing this cause as a way to destroy the church, but as a way to really bring justice.
True. That's very important. That's very important. Yeah,
that's very important. God is a God of justice, and we cannot not give justice just because we're dealing with a certain individual or a certain church. We must not compromise. We must always speak out. I know there's a lot of some of you ladies watching now. You've been defiled by, harassed sexually by these pastors. Speak out. It's never too late to speak out. Speaking out and getting justice would be part of your healing process, would be part of bringing closure to it, would be your own mandate to try to help other people, because now you are exposing somebody. It's not the first time that he's doing it. You are bringing truth back to the church. So thank you so much. I will speak to you later just to see how we can get it across to the CRL Commission and also into other newspapers, because we need to make sure that we get this out there just so more and more people should know about it. And that pastor needs to step down. If you guys know CFCI rather, please tag them in this post. Take this video to them. Tag the Apostle Colin Ndlomo. This guy needs to step down and not come around the church. At least this guy needs to be fired. He needs to take a break, go sort out his life, because he's a danger to the society. He's a danger to women. And this is in South Africa. This is Women's Month. Tomorrow is Women's Day. So we must talk about this sort of things. But Sabelo, thank you so much. Thank your wife for me. And then we'll talk some more, and may the Lord just continue to help you guys. And thank you for standing for truth and not compromising any of it.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. God bless the listeners and those that are watching as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. God bless. That's Sabelo Sibia, whose mother, a 60-year-old grandmother, was raped by her pastor in the church that she was a part of since 1999. Guys, we need to talk. We need to speak out. Please share this video, tag people, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you again tomorrow.